For 3 nights in a row this past week, I woke up at 2:22. Yeah, that's pretty witchy, isn't it? Or unusual. Or how about people calling me the moment that I think about them? Weird coincidences, deep emotion surfacing. The veil is thinning and it's happening to all of us. Except not everybody is aware, but there's many people that are waking up. The veil is thinning and you are not imagining it. I just want to discuss the weird occurrences, synchronicities that are happening to society on a collective level. And for those of us who are awake, let's chat about it. I'm Alexa the Great and I love to create. This channel is all about spirituality, things that I've been experiencing since leaving the church, commentary on religion, cults, and documenting my journey along the way. So if that's what you're into, hang out with me, subscribe to the channel, and of course support me by liking this video if you do enjoy it. The veil is the invisible boundary between the physical and the non-physical. It's the seen and the unseen. And so when we say the veil is thinning, that means that the seen and the unseen are kind of like almost blending together. We're starting to see things bleeding in from the unseen, and now we're more aware of it, if that makes any sense. So for me, I don't know about you guys, but synchronicities are everywhere. I have been picking up on patterns that I can tell you probably 3-4 years ago, I'd be like, just new to this stuff. But now that I'm like heavy in it, I notice things and it's kind of crazy. Seeing repeating numbers, people call them angel numbers. Like I told you, I woke up at 222 for 3 nights in a row. Like, what the hell does that even mean? Or people calling you when you think about them. That's a phenomena that a lot of people do experience. Have you? If so, drop it down in the comments. I want to hear your story. Faster manifestation. I hate that word manifestation because it's overused, but guess what? The word manifest simply means to bring into existence, to bring into reality. It's also another word to create. You created your reality. You created the apartment you live in. You created the social life that you have, the job that you have. Everything is a manifestation that all came from your head, even the bad stuff. So what I've been noticing is that the thoughts that I do have pop up into my reality a lot quicker than usual. And it's a little weird. Deep emotional purging, that has been another theme for me specifically, but when I say deep emotional purging, I'm talking like your past resurfacing like an ocean on the shore, just coming up, maybe like a memory you had and you put 2 and 2 together and you're just like, that's why I am the way I am. And maybe you have like a sob. You cry about it. I know that's pretty normal, but for me, I feel like it's been happening a lot more frequently. Things that I haven't paid attention to in years, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, boom, boom. That's a story for another video because something crazy happened to me, and if I can put it into words, I would just say it was the most magical experience that I've had. Okay, so I want to share with you guys some synchronicities that have happened to me in this past month alone. What's great about that is it's very recent. So yeah, I hope you guys believe me. And if you don't, that is fine. I understand. It sounds crazy, but I swear on everything, this is real. So the first one I want to discuss, me and my girlfriend took our moms away to Key West and we went to, just hang out. We didn't necessarily have plans, but during this time we were driving, heading there, right? And this song plays. I put on some reggae, like to get the island feel, I don't know how to dance. Anyway, so this song comes on and it sings 111 in the song. I forgot how the song goes, and maybe I can find it and play it for you guys. But anyways, once I heard that and being aware of synchronicities, I told my mom, who is a skeptic, by the way, and doesn't believe in this stuff. I said, watch, we're going to see 111 for the rest of the day. Because that song was a literal synchronicity. It was, a frequency, rather. So we get to our destination, we park next to a car, and what do we see? 111 on their license plate. We drove past the building, 111. We just saw 111 probably like 3 or 4 times for the rest of the day. And that wasn't enough for her. It's just like, oh yeah, of course we're gonna notice it because we've been paying attention to it. That's how she thinks. And I'm just like, no, it's more than that. So the next day I wanted to experiment with her, and I told her, okay, we're gonna see flamingos. We're gonna see some flamingos. And she was like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll see some flamingos. We're walking in Key West now, downtown, and we passed this store. It's centered around butterflies, like that's the theme. So we're checking the store out, very cute store, and then my mom comes up to me and she's like, there's a butterfly exhibit in here and I would love to check it out. So I'm like, okay. Mind you, I'm a little scared of bugs. I love butterflies though, like I can admire them, but in this exhibit there was, I believe, 1,400 butterflies, and it's not that big a place. So all of these butterflies are just flapping their wings. Anyways, that's besides the point. We get inside, and lo and behold, what do we see? 2 flamingos. And I pointed out to her, and I'm like, look, there goes the flamingos. And she's like, hello, we're in Key West. Of course we're going to see flamingos. But why didn't we see any flamingos prior to or after? Can you riddle me that? So again, I'm like, okay, how about we see a dime on the floor? We're going to come across a dime. And I know I said on the floor, but you know, when it comes to the universe and speaking things into existence, it doesn't go how you want it to go. Anyways, my girlfriend interjected and she was like, what if we saw a $100 bill? Forget the dime, let's see a $100 bill. And I was like, okay, yeah. The next morning, we walk into a Cuban cafe and we go to have breakfast, and as we're putting our orders in, right behind the lady ringing us up is a huge $100 bill, like, you know, over exaggerated. And I just laughed to myself because I'm like, there goes our $100 bill. And my mom looks at it and she's like, that's just a coincidence. And I just couldn't believe it that she didn't like see how synchronistic this was, how magical this was. You can't change someone's belief or opinion. That's a journey that somebody has to go through on their own, and she chose not to see the magic of our words, which played out instantly. Another synchronicity I would like to share, same weekend, the next day, we go back to my mom's house. I play the guitar, and my brother has my electric guitar in his room. I just wanted to play it. It's been a while, so I look up some songs to play on Google, and one song that popped out to me was House of the Rising Sun. I haven't heard that song in a long time, haven't thought about it, whatever. So I start playing it. After I find the chords, I'm singing to it, and yeah, I'm just jamming out. I go home later that night, and I'm laying in bed with my phone in my hand, just scrolling on TikTok. Next thing you know, I watch this video of this girl who I love, where she breaks things down spiritually. And so the video had nothing to do with New Orleans. Okay, I just want to make that very clear. Towards the end of the video, she discusses New Orleans, and with the spiritual breakdown she did, she said, just listen to the song House of the Rising Sun to get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. And in that instant, I was just like, I played that song earlier today. Why is this coming up again? Not only that, this song kept playing for me throughout the week. I went to someone's house and they have what are they called? A vitrolo? That's like an old, what do you call this thing? A record player. And I saw on the album, it said 3 Suns. And then my patient that I was working with tells me that he plans on taking a trip to New Orleans. This is the next day after what happened with me playing and watching the video. This is the next day. But I kid you not, this has been going on ever since, and I'm still dealing with it. Just Friday, 2 days ago, I'm walking into another patient's home. I do home health, and this guy is blasting House of the Rising Sun in front of the building. Another synchronicity. I thought about a friend that I haven't seen in a very long time. That was the day before. The next day, I get a text from her asking me, "Hey, would you like to join us for a soccer game?" So I think you guys get the point. What's just funny to me is how, like, May was just a very magical month, but like how things have just been happening nonstop. And I have so many stories, but just to name a few. So have you guys been experiencing synchronicities? I want to hear about them. Drop that below in the comments. I love to read about these things. I love to hear your guys' stories. I just think it's fascinating. So not only are weird occurrences happening, but we're also seeing a rise in self-awareness. People are deconstructing from their beliefs, and that includes religion. We are seeing a rise in deconstruction, more specifically with Christianity, because that is the religion of America, Catholicism and Christianity, according to Pew Research. In the recent years, there has been a notable decline in the number of Americans identifying as Christian, with a growing number of people choosing to be religiously unaffiliated. The percentage of Americans who identify as Christian has decreased from 90% in 1972 to 62% in 2024.
We as a human species are so gone. And so the reason I say that is because lately, 2 weeks ago, I just woke up and realized I am believing in things and I don't know why I believe in them. And specifically, one of those things is religion. I got baptized a year ago. All my life, I have known that God is real and that the Bible is facts. You have to do what the Bible says. And I've always, carried that with me. And so last year I was going through a really tough time in my relationship, and it pushed me deeper down the religion, the Christianity hole, I guess, where I'm okay, I'm just focusing on what I know. And what I know is God, Jesus, let me call on the Holy Spirit, let me whatever. And so I am reading the Bible all the time, and I decide I'm going to get baptized because I just feel I I have to, right? And so I did that. And at the time it just felt so amazing. And I just felt renewed, and everything was great at the time. And so over the last couple months, I've kind of felt I don't really want to go to church. I just don't feel like it. But then I have moments where it's I really want to go. And I'll go continuously every Sunday for a while, and then I'll stop. And I think that most people have that experience of not going to church religiously. And so, but yeah, lately, I just haven't been wanting to go. And then on Easter Sunday, I went, and I just felt what is going on here? For some reason, I was just so it's my eyes were open, and I'm this is marketing 101. Just seeing how they took up the money after 45 minutes of praise and worship, and why do it then when everyone's all emotional? Or seeing how
it's the best time to collect
the
money
focus was on getting new people to go to their church, and it's they were focused on the visitors and trying to get them to come more often, which is great for the church.
It's a business.
I don't know, for some reason while I was there, it just seemed like a business to me. And the message that the pastor was preaching, I'm just why do I believe this? And so I just kind of sat with that feeling. And then one day I woke up a few weeks ago, and I was just no, why do I believe this, and what will happen if I don't believe this?
The moment you ask, why do I believe this, is when everything comes crumbling down. That's the one question you need to get thrown into the abyss, which is very scary. So proceed with caution. I don't know what is. Why is this happening Specifically, I've noticed that, Christians are deconstructing from their faith because they're starting to ask the critical questions that you don't necessarily ask in the church. And being someone who was raised a Christian myself, when you do ask these questions, it is encouraged for you to just continue with your faith. Like, don't you dare ask those questions, or that can lead you down to a path that you don't want to go down, right? They encourage you to just put all of your faith and trust in God, believe the Bible for what it is, and if you have questions, you can ask God in the afterlife, but don't you dare question him. So I've noticed with a lot of agnostics and atheists specifically that when I started to become aware of what deconstructing was, and I went down that path, I've noticed a lot of Christians that did the same thing. So I feel what really does get someone started down the deconstruction path is asking the critical questions. And that takes a lot of awareness, because when you're raised into a belief system and it's all you've ever known, you don't necessarily think outside the box. But there's few people who do. And maybe they're born with that. Like as a kid, I was a very curious girl and I would ask the questions. As I got older, the questions lingered, like it never truly left. So, for example, a question like, why would a loving God create heaven and hell? Why would he send people to hell for all of eternity to burn? Is that fair? Is that just? For living a finite life on earth, we're gonna burn for infinity? Or why would God say he regretted creating human beings when he flooded the earth and he wanted to start all over again? Did the evil leave when he flooded the earth? I mean, yeah, well, when he destroyed everyone, when he killed everybody, but like after that, evil came back. But it doesn't align with an omniscient, all-knowing, all-powerful, unconditionally loving God. If he knew what humanity was going to be prior to flooding the earth, why create us in the first place? And then that's when I have to say, this is when you have to remember that the Bible was created by man. And men aren't perfect. And when you have a book as big as the Bible, of course you're going to see inconsistencies in chapters. There's so many contradictions in the Bible. I just recently made a video on me leaving Christianity and going into spirituality and what it did for me on a spiritual and mental level. And I highly recommend checking it out. If you are someone who is in the faith or deconstructing, or you find it interesting, check it out. I'll post the link up right here. What about our self-awareness now? Isn't it wild that terms like inner child, gaslighting, trauma bonding are now a part of our everyday vocabulary?
I really think this is the greatest generation ever to be alive, because we have the unique privilege to liberate the trauma, the stress, the chaos that our ancestors had to endure.
10 years ago, this was niche psychology, and now we're hearing these terms on reality TV.
Okay, it's time to heal some inner children. All right? It's time to start healing some inner children. Listen up. So your inner child is a part of your subconscious that started forming ideas and beliefs since you were born. So if you grew up in an environment where you were not properly mirrored, where you were not validated, where you were abused emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, if you grew up in an environment that was not conducive to developing your emotional intelligence, this is probably why you feel like your inner child needs some healing. So the first step to healing your inner child is to make them feel seen and heard by you. The same way that you wanted all this attention as a little child and you craved it, and some of us were abandoned and we didn't get it and all the things happened, your inner child still is craving to be seen and heard even though you're an adult.
It's not a bad thing. I think it's a great thing that people are becoming aware of their past traumas and how it relates to the present moment. But this just goes to communicate self-awareness is exponentially rising, as opposed to the 70s. the 80s, the 2000s, people, let's say the Gen X, right? Generation X, they dealt with a lot of abuse. I've heard many stories from people who say their parents were in abusive relationships, the baby boomers. And so they had to settle when it came to marriage, when it came to just taking in emotional abuse and physical abuse. This was also a very religious generation because during this time, we have a lot of Christians, Catholics. And so in the Bible, we have wives submit to your husbands. When you grow up believing that, which I didn't, but can you imagine oh, I have no choice. The Bible told me to do so. I can't talk. I can't lead the marriage. I can't give my input because the Bible has basically oppressed women. So when you grow up believing that, that's what you get. You get relationships that don't help you grow. It's not balanced. I feel like women are very self-aware, very emotionally intelligent, intuitive. I mean, hello. So when you create a culture that focuses on masculinity and oppressing femininity, you get things like war. I mean, think about all of the leaders that are in office. It's a male-dominated, oh gosh, I'm getting into politics. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Just to go back to that, we are hyper-aware, we are self-aware, and I think that's a great thing, and it's only going to continue to snowball. Quantum theory. Quantum theory has gained popular interest. My YouTube feed is flooded with people talking about quantum physics. Now we have the rise of spiritual gurus and even people in the science field, doctors, neuroscientists, now flirting with quantum theory. And so in a nutshell, what quantum theory is the behavior of matter and light at the atomic and subatomic level. And so when you study that, you see weirdness. I think that's the best way I can put it. It's not predictable. It's actually very unpredictable. And I have some examples. But why is this important? Matter is not what it seems to be when you go beyond the atom. So quantum entanglement, I believe that this is when you have two particles that have interacted with each other. You separate the particles. And if something is manipulated to one particle, it automatically happens to the other, if I can put that in layman's terms. You also have the double slit experiment, where a particle can act like a wave or particle, depending on observation. If you're observing it, I believe it behaves like a particle, and the moment you look away, it behaves like a wave. Very weird stuff. But this says a lot, because now that we can study, I mean, this has been going on, I believe, since the 1950s. That's when they discovered quantum physics. Let me just fact check that. 1900. Quantum theory's foundation was laid in 1900 when Max Planck introduced the concept of quanta, or discrete energy packets, to explain black body radiation. This marked a departure from the traditional view of energy as continuous. While Planck's work wasn't initially called quantum theory, it's considered the birthplace of the revolutionary idea. One figure I will mention is Joe Dispenza. He has a background in science and neuroscience, if I'm not mistaken. And what he does is he brings in quantum theory and spirituality. I read his book, Becoming Supernatural, life-changing. I recently made a video on a healing journey that I went through back in December that lasted about 4 months, and I basically lost my ability to swallow food. It's a very interesting video. I would recommend watching it if healing is something that is very intriguing to you. But he basically believes that the mind can heal the body. And so what he does is he brings in quantum physics, he calls it the quantum field, into his meditation. And this is You know, I can go on about this for a whole nother video, but basically the quantum field is the field of possibilities. And so when I was working on my healing, I would meditate in this field of possibilities. But what happens here is you disassociate from the self. You don't identify with yourself. You are just a thought in this realm. And so you focus on the outcome that you want, and the next thing you know, it happens. I was consistent with my meditations. I'd say I was dedicating about 30 to 40 minutes a day. And then 4 months later, I healed. And there's so many stories of people healing. If you go on his YouTube page, which was very motivating for me, but people also experiencing spiritual phenomena during the duration of their meditations. Even within 2 weeks, people having these crazy Kundalini awakenings, which I also believe in. I've had my own experiences with meditation, and I'll make that into another video. There's just so much to discuss, but quantum theory is science explaining the unknown, the unseen, which is, it's trending right now. So what do we do with this, all of this information? I would say if you're new, if the spiritual path is something you want to take, first I'll say it's not what you're going to expect. Okay, I think a lot of it is centered around meditation, but also practicing in your waking life. It's not easy, but it's worth it. I would say now is the time to go within and meditate. Journaling, enjoying your solitude. If you feel like you're very codependent in your relationships, start to separate yourself from that. You might get some revelations. You might actually enjoy being alone. And when you are alone, things begin to reveal themselves that were hidden in your psyche, especially during meditation. Pay attention to the signs. I do believe that the universe does communicate to us numbers, people, TV. I know TV is actually very controversial because it's not really productive, but no, like movies, I believe are very spiritual. Music is spiritual. When I do drive in my car, it's so funny. When me and my girlfriend are having conversations, there'll be a song playing that is basically on the subject of what we're talking about. It happens all the time. It's like the universe is like, yep, confirmation. You guys are right where you need to be. It's the most weirdest thing. So I also think of my playlist as the universe's way of communicating to me. Write down the signs that you see. Whenever I experience a synchronicity, I go to my phone, I go to my notes, and I type in the things that I experience, and I always go back, I read through them, and I try and connect the dots, and 9 times out of 10, I get revelations. It's crazy. Set intentions for yourself. When you're very clear about something that you want, the universe hears you. God hears you. Whatever this intelligence is that's surrounding us, it hears you. And so you carry out, you trust your gut instincts, because I believe that's how Source guides you. Go with your gut and go towards your goal, but be very clear about your intention. Even if it's wanting to learn more about yourself or why you behave the way you behave. Release the old to allow the new to come in. This includes relationships, bad habits, maybe even your career. I can go on and on, but what I love about that is there's so much room for more videos to be made, and I'm really excited about the path that my YouTube channel is taking, because I was very lost when I started my YouTube channel. I was just posting things that interested me, but it was not necessarily a specific niche. So I'm excited about this. If this excites you guys too, if this is something you want to continue to watch, please subscribe, please support me. I would greatly appreciate that. I will catch you guys in the next video.